Yes, welcome again. Today, I will look at communication skills because in our daily conversations, communications, we need these skills for us to communicate effectively. Most communications fail, most messages fail because we lack the essential skills from this unit that we call communication skills. This particular unit is taught in every course that a person undertakes. They have to undergo this particular course because it is so essential in our daily lives. Because communication is key in an organization, in churches, wherever you meet with a person or more, there must be communication for that particular meeting to be successful. There is no success of an event without communication. There must be communication which is effective and successful. So I will briefly go through some important areas that we need to embrace for us to communicate effectively. Because this is a unit that is taught in colleges, in universities, and even in high schools. It is incorporated in oral skills. So, to begin with, I will first of all give a definition, despite the fact that we have several scholars who have given definitions about this communication. The definitions are so many, and I can only give one of them so that at least we will have a clue of what communication is all about. Remember, in communication, there must be a sender, the receiver, and the medium that you use in communication. So, there is one of the definitions that I've chosen to give, despite all others that we may have, that this is the process of transmitting information. It is called a process. Communication is called a process because the transmission of this message is continuous, that it goes to the receiver and the receiver has to give some feedback or a response to the message. So it's just like a circle. The communication is continuous. It doesn't end from the sender. It goes to the receiver, and the receiver also, on the other hand, acts as a sender or a source when giving feedback. So it means that from one individual or organization to another, the message is passed by means of mutually understandable symbols. There should be symbols which are understood by both, that is, the source of the message and the receiver of the message. Both must understand the symbols that are incorporated for the communication to be effective. Uh, we have rules of communication in an organization. Remember, every organization must embrace communication, and it's communication that drives any organization forward. As I've stated earlier, without proper communication, there will be no any organization that we can talk about. Every organization can fail because of miscommunication. So the role of communication in an organization, I'll give a few of them. Like there is building of positive public relations. Whenever there is communication, the public relations is strengthened in an organization. The way members in an organization relate with one another depends on how effective the communication is in that given organization. In addition, there is what you call central management of the entire organization. So this one, despite the management that we know about, it is communication that is central to the success of an organization. It is at the center of the success of the entire organizations. So we also have another item that this communication manages human resource. As human resource, as a work of ensuring proper communication, uh, either vertically or horizontally. It means that it gives the human resource, a good communication gives the human resource an easy task or easy work in terms of managing the employees and all that. So, building positive interpersonal relations is also achieved when there is good communication in an organization. It is so clear and so crucial. It also holds an organization together. Whenever there is good communication, which is effective, then the organization is held together. People work as a team, they work as a family whenever there is good communication uh, from the top to the bottom and vice versa. So, this communication also helps in team building as well as teamwork. Members come together, they bond, and they work as a team. Communication also in an organization uh, helps in marketing of products and services. You cannot market a product if you are not communicating. You need some words, you need some statements that you have to put across for proper marketing of products to the clients who can be customers. So, delegation of work is also done easily whenever there's good communication because work can be delegated from that is from the vertical way or the horizontal way or from the top management officers to the lowest or across. So, in transacting what we call businesses, we also need communication. We need proper communication for businesses to be transacted the right way. Um, I also look at another subtopic that is so crucial in communication, and this one is what we call the principles of effective communication. This one is uh, so common in our daily conversations, in our daily communications. We need these particular skills. We need the principles of effective communication, or the ones we call the C's of good communication. We need them because they can help us in our daily communications, they can help us in our management issues, they can help us in many areas uh, where we need to communicate with one another in our organizations. So these particular principles include one, we have what we call correctness, that any message you are giving has to be correct in terms of grammar, in terms of the words you're using, in terms of the language that you employ, so that the receiver also appreciate and give feedback appropriately. Uh, there must be what we call clarity in the information or the message that you are passing from one person to another. Clarity. It has to be a clear message. It has to be understood. There also must be what we call consistency. Whatever that we are talking about, you should not go out of it. You should not go out of the topic that you are talking about. You should be consistent. Communication has to be consistent. If there are reports to be given, they should be given consistently. If there are some communications which are made on daily basis, they should be given consistently. If there are communications which are made weekly, they should be given consistently. Yeah. We also have what we call coherence. There should be some coherence in terms of the message that is passed from one person to another. We also have what we call concreteness. Concreteness, that the message has to be concrete. There should be no doubt of the message that is given or passed from one person to another. Also, there should be what we call conciseness, or what we call being precise, being brief in the message that you're communicating so that you can be clear. You should not give stories where they are not required. Go straight to the point. Pass the message that is necessary. Make every word count in your communication. There should be what we call courtesy. Courtesy, the use of words that show respect, or we can talk of this as the words which require. Yes, another principle of effective communication that is the last one in this list is what we call completeness. In every message that you deliver, there must be completeness. The message should be understood by the receiver in such a way that the receiver will also be able to give the feedback that is appropriate. The receiver cannot give and can never give a feedback if the message is distorted, if the message is incomplete. So it has to be complete with a full message. I will again now look at another part which is so essential in communication, that we have this part that we call ICT. ICT is in most cases incorporated in our daily communication. The use of ICT or communication technology has improved our communication at a very fast rate. So, like now, the use of mobile phones in communication, the use of computers, the use of other gadgets, all these facilitate the easy communication in in many people and in long distances. So, like there is what we call some flexibility when it comes to communication due to incorporation of information technology, that you can work from anywhere using a mobile phone, using a laptop. You can work from anywhere because of the improvement of technology. It can also, this use of technology can strengthen the customer and partner relationships. When you communicate, the response is somehow instant, because if a client makes a call to an organization, there must be direct communication or instant responses, and that will improve the customer relation with the partners or with the business partners. So it is so crucial. And this communication technology has also improved what we call the productivity or efficiency in terms of organizational production. There is also what we call social networking. Social networking through social media has been improved due to ICT. Yes, there is that communication in social media, especially when one is advertising a business, when one is doing online businesses. All that has been enabled by the advancement in technology, and it becomes so simple to talk to many people at the same time through social media. It has offered opportunities for online businesses, which is so rampant in our societies today. So we have to be clear and we have to understand all this. There are many others, but to mention a few. So, there are challenges brought as a result of technological advancement. These challenges must be understood and they must be learned at any given point. So it is good and essential that we have to understand the challenges brought by ICT in communication. There could be what we call cyber crimes, which have been witnessed due to the advancement in technology. There's what we call internet fluctuations. Sometimes the internet fluctuates due to some problems here and there, and that affects the effective communication, and the messages become distorted. They do not reach the recipients as they are expected. So there's high cost of gadgets. Sometimes the mobile phones are expensive, laptops are expensive. So these expenses can make other people not to communicate effectively due to lack of such gadgets. There is what we call a lack of technical skills. Some individuals may not understand how to use these particular gadgets. Uh, that requires them to undergo a short training that will enable them to communicate effectively using such gadgets. So the spread of fake news is also rampant due to the advancement of ICT in communication. That the individuals who can communicate uh, fake news publicly, even in social media. So those are some of the challenges that have uh, come as a result of the advancement in this particular field, that is the incorporation of ICT in communication. So communication process, there's what we call communication process. This communication process, as I quoted earlier, we call it a process because it is continuous. It doesn't stop at the sender. It goes to the receiver and comes back with the feedback. That is why it's a process. It's a continuous process. Communication does not stop at the source. It goes to the sender, to the receiver. It comes back to the sender as feedback when it is well understood and decoded as required. So there are components of the process of communication that we have the source. The source is the sender of the message. Without the source, there could be no message. So it is the source that generates the message. Then we have the audience or the receiver. The receiver or the audience wait for the message from the sender or the source of the message. And there's a goal or purpose. There must be a reason for communication. What could be the main reason as to why the sender or the source is sending a message? There's also what we call the message itself or the content. This message itself has to be prepared by the source or by the sender. Then there is what we call medium or the channel. Which medium of communication is used to send this message? The medium of communication or the channel is so essential, and it will determine how fast the message reaches the receiver or the recipient. There's also what we call feedback. Whenever the message is complete, there must be feedback from the receiver of the message. So there's also what we call the environment or the context at which the message is sent or the background. So this will enable the successful communication. These components of the process of communication enables the successful communication to be effected. There's also another part that we call the stages of communication. uh, the stages of communication enable also the message to be effective or the communication to be effective. So the sender, first of all, conceptualizes and encodes the message. After conceptualizing and encoding the message, now the sender does what you call choosing the channel. He chooses the channel and sends the message to the receiver. After the message has been sent to the receiver, now the receiver receives the message and decodes the message. Decoding is the process of making sense out of the message. So whenever the receiver gets the message from the sender, he or she has to decode or pick some sense from out of this message so that they can prepare the feedback. So there's also another stage that the receiver chooses the channel and sends feedback. That is after decoding that the receiver has to choose which channel they will use to send feedback. So despite the successful communication, uh, there is also what we call barriers to effective communication. They are wide and they are categorized into various categories, and I will look at a few. That these barriers hinder the successful communication. They hinder the success of the process of communication. And there's a way in which all these barriers must be overcome or can be overcome in several ways. But now I can look at these barriers briefly. That we have what we call physical barriers. These are the physical barriers, like the defects, when we have the defects in the medium. When the medium has some defects, if, for example, you're using a mobile phone and maybe there's a breakdown in the gadget, then the message will not be effective or will be distorted. And any other medium that you're using, if it is having some defects, be it telephone calls or maybe there is network issues, then the message may not reach in full. There's also what we call noise. Whenever there's noise that is heard in the process of communication, then it means the message will not be complete. The process will not be complete as expected. And there's also what we call information overload. If the information that is being delivered is too much, then it means some of the information will not reach the destination, the recipient or the destination as expected. Some of the information will be lost on the way if there is overload in the information that is being given. We also have other barriers that are categorized as semantic or language barriers. When we talk about semantics, this refers to the or pertains to the arising uh, from the different meanings of words. Semantics is now the use of different words with different meanings. But here we have cases where some words have the same meaning, or one word has a variety of meanings. So the word that you choose will depend on the message you are passing. But if you misuse the word, then the message will be distorted. It will be hindered from reaching the recipient as a complete message. And we have many words that have multiple meanings. So when they have multiple meanings, it means that you have to be keen when you choose them. You have to be so keen when you are communicating using such words that have multiple meanings. So the way you speak them, you have to know whether you're using them as verbs, as nouns, as adjectives, or any other form for the communication to be effective. The emotional or cultural attitudes may also affect the process of communication. That whenever, according to somebody's culture, you may understand that if a word that referring to a certain animal is incorporated in communication, then what comes to others' mind is the cultural beliefs of such animals. And the choice of the words used in that context may also hinder the process of communication, especially to those who believe in what the words may mean according to their culture. So there's also dialect. Dialects may also affect uh, the process of communication. We have various dialects, and if you choose a word from a different dialect and communicate to a person who does not understand that dialect, then the information will be distorted. It will not reach as expected. We have other barriers like organizational barriers, among others. Whenever there is what we call organizational barriers, we expect that some information may be filtered or edited depending on the level at which it comes from or depending on the direction the message is moving. So it can be edited from one point to another, ending up uh, to losing several meanings and messages as such. So a message can be delivered from the topmost management and then it moves down vertically to the lowest employee. So in between here, it can be edited, and that means that some message uh, or information may be lost on the way. There is what called deliberate withholding by rivals. Some messages may be withheld by rivals in the organization when they have their own issues here and there. They may tend to withhold some messages which seems to be uh, more beneficial to the final recipient. And overdependence on written communication in organizations also may affect the verbal communication as we have reported. That if an organization overdepends on written communication only, it means that the verbal communication cannot be effective as such. We have other barriers, but up to that point, I can say that uh, the lesson has been successful. And now I just urge all my listeners to ensure they subscribe to my channel, like, comment, and share for more messages, for more educational videos. Thank you so much, and may God